Okay, so first let me introduce a little thing about myself. My name is Jason, and I'm blockchain developer from KIP Protocol team. And for today's workshop, on behalf of my team, I would like to present the KIP ecosystem smart contract design, explain the logic of implementation, and then I would like to walk you guys through on how to interact with the smart contract using a block explorer, because this contract has been deployed on Sepolia-based testnet, and everything is public. So you guys, after the workshop, you guys can try out and run the experiment by yourself. For the KIP ecosystem, it consists of four parts: the KIP management, the KIP identification, KIP registration, and the last one, the KIP service. The first contract is the KIP management. The contract will manage a list of special actors that have been granted a privilege to do special tasks in the ecosystem. For example, the operator role would have a privilege to do a contract setting. For example, set registration fee, set the commission fee. And the second role is the mentor. This role takes responsibility to issue the identification and mint the NFT item. This is a special contract and it's a dedicated for the business team to manage the ecosystem. And the second contract is this KIP identification. This contract manages a list of identification in the ecosystem. And each of the identity is the NFT. Now we're using the ERC 721, which offer a free tradability and transferability. The token owner can list the item on any decentralized marketplace like OpenSea or Binance NFT marketplace and several others. The second feature the contract offer is the URI. We offer a flexible option for the token owner to use their own custom URL. Each of the token ID can have their own link to access the metadata, and the token owner can call this function set token URI to set and update the token URL by themselves. The third contract is a KIP registration. The contract will manage the identification register. The contract offers three functions: min app, min model, and min data. As a dataset owner, you can call on the min data function to issue the dataset ID. As a model owner, you can call this function to generate the model ID. And as the app owner, you can call the min app function to generate the app ID. For the app, owner can have two options. They can buy the app with the model and the data set. For this case, the owner has to specify the model ID and the data ID. For second option, the app can buy only one model and without the data set. For this case, the owner only specify the model ID and leave the dataset ID with the default web value, which is 0. And the last contract is the KIP service. This is a contract manage the payment related features. For example, for user, they can call on a function payment to make a payment for one app. The contract will fetch the model ID, the data ID, and then fetch the price to calculate the total price that user has to pay. Then contract will transfer the payment from the user balance to the contracts. Then contract will calculate the accumulated revenue for each of the item stored in the contracts. The revenue can be claimed at a later time by the owner or by anyone. And what do I mean by anyone? Because for the owner, for the item owner, they can have the function like set price, which is help them to set a listing price for the item. Then they have a function to set a payment pool. The payment pool is a dedicated address set by the token owner to specify the receiver to receive the accumulate revenue at a later time. The revenue can be claimed by anyone because there are several reasons for us to design this way. Because the app owner, they can share the benefit with a long list of a shareholder. In that case, they can have a dedicated smart contract address with the proper logic to distribute the revenue to their shareholder. So if the app or model or the asset owner just doesn't need to share to anyone, they can specify the payment pool with their they can set the payment pool using the external owned account to receive the revenue. Or another case, like if the owner have to share the benefit with a short list of beneficiary, then they can choose to use a multi-signature wallet, or it could be a payment splitter contracts. Yeah, so we offer several options for the owner to claim the revenue and to distribute to their shareholder, to their shareholders. So then next, I would like to walk you through
Can I
how to interact.
briefly interrupt? Sorry, 1 second. I just wanted to catch people up. So if anyone here missed the initial AMA that we did a couple of days ago, just to sort of, because I realized that some of the people here might not have been on the AMA that we did with TinTinLand a couple of days ago. So I just wanted to quickly summarize. So the goal of this is to enable our decentralized AI service. So that lets anyone who has a model, an app, or a data set, so an AI model, an AI app, or an AI data set, to deal with anyone else who is in the system. So if I have an app and I want to use your model, we both have tokens under this system, and we interact via a token gating API system that checks the on-chain activity, and we share revenue using these contracts. So yeah, I just wanted to quickly get that in.
Okay, thanks, Jen, for clarification. So next one, I will show you guys how to interact with the smart contracts using a Block Explorer. Let me share my screen. All right, so this is a deployed contracts on Sepola-based testnet. For first, let's start off with the registration. Sorry, it's okay. Hold on a second. Yeah, let me share my whole screen. It's better because it covered the tab. I cannot click on it. Okay, for the KIP registration, you can go to the sepolabasecamp.org and click on the contracts, because all of this contract have been verified, so you can interact with this contract using a BlockX. First, go to read contracts, the register. This is the number that indicate that there's total of 142 items have been registered so far. So for the demo, I would like to create another 3 ID. Once for the dataset, one for the model, and one for the app ID. So the next one would be, so the next 3 ID would be 143, 144, and 145. Okay, so then connect the wallet. Then I'm call the min data. You can specify a URL with the empty string, because as I say, you can set and update the URL at a later time using a different contracts. So let's first mint the dataset ID. Confirm. Same thing for the model. And the last one is the app. So for data ID, I'm gonna use a 143 and model is 144. The URL, this is the empty string. All right. For the URL, let me show you how to update the token URI. Okay, checking the URL for the item 143. This is the empty string, 144, empty string, and 145 also empty string. So you can go to write contracts, connect the wallets, then send token URI, specify the token ID you want to set and update, specify a token URI. For example, I leave it as example.com. And then go back to check it. It's update. The value is update. So you can update the value anytime and as many as you want. Then the next one is setting a price for the item. Then go to the keep service contracts. This contract handle the payment relates. So first, check the listing price for the item. 143, 0, 144, 0, and 145 is 0, also 0. Go to the contract, write contract, connect the wallet, and then set the price. Specify the token ID 143, the ID type. For the app, the ID type would be number 1. For the model, the ID type would be number 2. And for the dataset, the ID type to classify is number 3. So 143 is the dataset. So the ID type for it would be 3. And the price, I'm gonna say like 220 token, for example, and set the decimal, which is 10 to the power 18, and write for it. Okay. Check the price again. 143. Yes, it's update. Then I would do the rest for for the R2 item. 144 is the model, so the ID type for it would be 2. And I'm gonna choose the price is 30 and set the decimal is 10 to the power 18. Write transaction. And 145, the ID type is number 1, and the price is 50. Send transaction. Check the price again. 144 and 145. The next step would be I'm gonna mint for my account a token. This contract will be using as a payment token. And the contracts for this contract, you can freely mint any amount you want by calling the mint function, specify your wallet address, and set the amount. For example, I would say like 100 because that is the total amount I need to pay for the app. Then checking the balance. Okay, that's enough. Then I'm gonna set the approval because this contract will transfer the money out of my wallet. So we have to set the approval so that this contract can transfer out of my wallet on my behalf. So copy the address as a spender, and the value is 100. This is total amount I have to pay. So, right transaction. And then I go to the KIP service. Okay. Then I'll check the revenue. Specify the token ID 143 is 0, 144 is 0, and 145 is 0. So I'm gonna make a payment. The ID for the app is 145. Then make a payment. Then check out the revenue again. It's updates. Right, then I can call to claim the revenue. For example, yeah, I specify the token in 143. Oh, okay. This gave me an error because first, I also mentioned about a set payment pool. It's giving me an error because the payment pool has not been set by the owner yet. So if the contract execute, it's likely the total amount will be forward and sent to the burning address. So the contract will detect that case and revert the transaction and also throw out an error to indicate the failure. So for that case, I have to go to the right contracts and then I set a payment pool. So for example, I can set the 143 and the pool is my address. Because I'm the owner of the token ID and I want to receive the revenue and transfer the revenue into my account, so I can set the pool with my account address. When it's set, when it's set, I go back to claim revenue again and write it. No more error. Confirm. And then go back to the revenue and checking. It's 0. Yeah, this is my demo on how to interact with the smart contracts. And after the workshop, we will public this contract address, and so you guys can try out and run the experiment. Okay.
Thank you. That is awesome. So in addition to publishing the contract address and sharing all of that info, which obviously we're going to share via TinTinLand's channels, and we're going to share via our own channels on Discord and Twitter and Telegram, etc. We are also going to give access to the sandbox, which is basically the one possible execution of a site that uses these contracts. It's important to emphasize that it is only one. So we have other executions that do completely different things. So I will just share my screen. Okay. I'm going to assume you guys can see this okay. So yeah, KIP stands for Your Knowledge is Power, Your Knowledge is Property, and Your Knowledge is Provenance. And this is essentially our sandbox site, which is where we show off the other projects that KIP has been used to build. So Open Campus is one. We've got an ArtGen site. We've got Kiply, which is a university-focused site, and so on. And then it also shows off several data sets and apps that were made using those data sets. So these are a bunch of apps that let you consult a bug via AI, whether that is via semantic search or via a chatbot or whatever. So I am going to demo this by connecting and uploading a data set and then making a bot just to show you one way that this can potentially be used. So we're using account abstraction for this site, partly to make it easier to use and partly for security reasons. It's in this context, we can it helps to reassure the owners of the apps and the data sets that they're dealing with legit people who are going to pay them, who are within the system and so on. So I am just going to quickly log in using my my social sign-in. Right. So you can see I'm in. I've got my my account abstraction wallet here, which I can check up on and see my membership status and approve my pop-up to sign my session keys. Sorry. Okay. So yeah, I can check my account. I can check my credit balance. I have 997 left, so I'm all good. See what data sets I've bought in the past, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to start by uploading a data set. So I can do this via my knowledge assets here. And I have my own book, so I'm gonna create an app of this so that people can consult it. So I spent the 2 years of lockdown in Singapore translating the stratagems of the warring states into English. And now it is complete, it's all online. So I have turned it into a PDF and I want to turn it into an AI bot. So I'm going to add a new data element and go and upload this here. So you can see it's processing here, and that is both the upload and also the vectorization, because it is going to be used in retrieval augmented generation. So that is essentially it's giving the AI access to a data set that it wouldn't otherwise have access to, because this site is actually relatively new. I don't think it was all online when the big models were being trained. So they probably don't have this stored in the parametric memory. Okay, just to do a quick summary, and I will call this an educational data set. Won't bother with the descriptions because we're in a hurry. And obviously you have the option to set it private or public. You can encrypt it or not. Actually, this one, they're all automatically set to encrypted, but yeah, in future you're going to have the option to turn that off. You can set your price. So I think knowledge should be free, so I'm going to set it to 0, and then you just hit create. And what that will do again is it'll kickstart the vectorization process that is necessary for RAG to happen, and B, it will create my tokenization if if Zoom isn't interfering with the pop-up, which I think it may actually be. Yeah, I think Zoom is preventing it from opening this pop-up, which is a bit inconvenient. So I will quickly stop sharing, deal with the pop-up issue, and then share it again. Right. Okay, so you should be able to see it. It's added this. It's added to my list of data sets here, and I have it here, so I can use this now to connect to an AI and make an AI app. So you can see we have a variety of app templates here. We've just provided kind of a basic list, which is obviously going to be expanded with time. So we have the basic retrieval augmented generation app here, which is where the AI will answer user questions based on a data set that we uploaded. So in my case, it's my English translation of the stratagems of the warring states here. You have semantic search citation finder. So in that case, that is more like for if you've been doing some research, for example, and you have, say, 200 PDFs saved in your research folder, and you're looking for a specific citation from one of them, semantic search is actually really good for that. So yeah, we have that option. We have the same thing for summarizing documents. So in that case, again, if you have a research database with 200 PDFs in, you can search through it, find the one that is closest to the topic you want, and get the AI to summarize it. We have this analysis reports option app, which essentially lets you upload market data, because it was built for our first not our first investor, but our lead investor in the first round, Animoca. So we originally built this for analyzing the states of companies in their portfolio. And we have another chatbot that is optimized for running with open source models. We have semantic quiz generation, and this one was actually made for a professor at CSUN, so the university in California. And what he really wanted was essentially an app that would help him do pop quizzes for his students in his philosophy classes. He teaches Introduction to Philosophy, and he was having to come up with quiz questions every week. So he asked us to make this app, which I'll demo later if we have time. I'm not sure if we do. But what it essentially does is you upload your course textbook, for example, and what the AI does is it asks you for a topic. You put in the topic that you want it to quiz you on, and it will write a bunch of questions and then spoiler out the answers. So you guess the answer, and then you click to see if you were right. And then oops, these are copies of the other ones. So yeah. So in this case, I am just going to do the basic retrieval augmented generation. So I will continue with this, and this site is actually set up to facilitate people to create chain of thoughts prompts. And what a chain of thought is essentially you're helping the AI along. You're helping the AI to reason through a more complex problem. So if you just ask the AI, what day is Shakespeare's birthday, it is going to say right away it's April 23rd, because that information is in the training data. But if you say, okay, I don't know, write me a set of fluid dynamics equations for this particular situation, and then turn them into a Python code to simulate it, it may well kind of get lost or get confused along the way. But it will perform a lot better if you split the task up into several stages. And that's what I'm going to do here. So what I'm going to try and do is get the AI to find me a quote from the book on a given topic, and then write that quote up in JavaScript code so that I can have it as an insert on my website. So you can search for a quote and then you can see it pop up. Right. So I will come up with a good prompt. And the prompt requires certain variables. So I'm using retrieval augmented generation. So I'm going to need at least 2 variables in this prompt. And that is, first of all, the question, which is the question that the final user is going to ask, which we don't know what it is yet. And then the context, and that is the information that the AI is going to receive or retrieve from the database that it has access to, which is again this book. So let's come up with something. So you can see with this system prompt, what I'm doing is I'm telling the model that it needs to answer the user question in a specific way. So you can do that in any way. You know, I'm doing it specific for this, but you can say, you know, get it to do whatever you want, essentially. So now I have both variables in. And again, you know, you can add in anything you want. So I can even get it to do it in a catgirl voice if I wanted, but I'm going to get it to do it seriously this time. So now I have to choose which model I want to use. So we're just offering kind of a random selection here right now. We've got Llama 3, which is pretty good. That is our own local version. We've got Claude, obviously, which is I'm a big Claude fan. I like the layer of whimsy. We have DeepSeek, which again, it's sort of quite cutting edge. I like it. And DeepSeek Coder, which again is among the highest performing code models right now. So for this one, I think I will use Claude. So the settings, again, if you've ever used the GPT API, you're probably familiar with these settings. If you haven't, then I'll do a quick intro. So you have your output tokens, which is just the length of the answer you want it to give. You have your model temperature, and basically the higher you set this, if you set it at 2, the answer that the model gives will just be totally crazy and incoherent. If you set it at 0, it will just spit out exactly what is in the retrieved data. So I want something that's a kind of a compromise. I don't want it to be totally uncreative, but I don't want it to be crazy sounding either. So I'm going to set it at 65. That'll do. Top P. So top P is kind of similar to temperature, but it's slightly different at the same time. So model temperature controls the craziness of each individual word that the model will spit out. And top P controls the amount of lateral thinking that the model is allowed to do. So, for example, if you set a high temperature and a low top P, and you ask it, what do cats eat? It will just say skibbity, and it will be totally incomprehensible. If you set a low temperature and a high top P and you ask it what cats eat, it will say something like, cats eat sugar and spice and all things nice, which is linguistically coherent, but it's an odd answer. So I actually want it to sort of to be relatively consistent. So I'm going to leave it there. Your frequency penalty and your presence penalty are basically just two different ways to prevent it from repeating itself too often. Your context chunks, that is basically how many snippets of information you want it to retrieve from the data set you've connected it up to. So I usually think that 4 is a good amount, but you're going to want to change this based on the data set you're using, essentially. So I am going to test this out and ask a question about going to ask questions about dogs. It's going to take a while to go through, but hopefully it's going to work. Oh, well, this is embarrassing. Did that? Oh, I know what I did. I clicked on the, sorry, I've got multiple apps that use this data sets, that use similar data sets, and I clicked on the wrong one. That's why. 1 second, let me stop sharing and go to different one. Okay, I think this is, yeah. Okay, here we go. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. Here we are, and I will show what we are doing here. So again, you can see here we are. Again, same task, find a list of quotations and give one of the quotations in the list. And you can see I have my settings here and my context. I might reduce that a bit. And which model am I using? Claude. Okay. Yeah, this one is working. Sorry. My fault for doing too many tests of this thing. Okay, and you can see here we have multiple chunks of data that have been retrieved from the original document. And these I can confirm for a fact that these are actually bits of data that are in the book, because obviously I wrote it. And they're all about dogs. So hooray, it's correctly spotted what I'm interested in and brought them back. And obviously I did more than just ask it to get the context. I asked it to pick one specific quotation from that context, give only the quotation, no commentary. And here we are. It's successfully selected a quotation, no commentary. It's all good. So I am going to call this output that it's made. I'm going to give it a variable name, good dogs 1, because we all like good dogs. So what I can then do as a follow-up to this is I can add in a second stage to this chain of thought. So here I want to convert it into JavaScript for my website, and I want it to display this quote in a little snippet of JavaScript that I can add to my site. So there I've written a prompt to get it to do that. This time there's multiple options, so maybe I can try DeepSeek Coder. I'm not sure how well or badly it's going to perform on this specific task, but I will give it a try. So yeah, and you can see it is it's actually managing to write this JavaScript. It's not quite correct because somehow it's managed to pick up my Wix site address rather than the actual quote. So maybe DeepSeek Coder, it's not the ideal model for this. Maybe Claude would write better code as well. And the whole point of this interface is that you can actually, you know, you can actually do this. You can switch out models, which is, KIP's major selling point, the fact that you're not limited to whatever one model that the platform chooses to offer you. It's not like getting a GPT subscription where then you have to use GPT, or you're on character.ai and you use whatever model they put in front of you. You can choose between, open source, you can choose closed source, you can choose any number of things. So we'll give it a go with Claude and see what Claude comes up with. Let's see. Okay, let's try this. And now I can go through to my apps and I can actually try out the app itself. So I should probably have given it a better name than manage app. Or I will call it than test app, sorry. I will call it Stratagems of the Warring States and save the changes. So now I can go back to my apps, and obviously I set it to free, and since it's tokenized, it's visible on OpenSea, etc., etc. And I will just go in and I will try it out. So I will ask a question about oh, sorry, did that not send? Oh, yeah, here we go. Yeah. And you can see it's written a whole lot of stuff, and it's managed to, yeah, incorporate all of this and write a paragraph to insert a quotation about horses from the book onto my website. So yeah, it's all good. And we are going to be giving access to this in the next couple of days. Right now, it is still on the test net, as Jason mentioned. And obviously, we could give access just to the testnet version, but we want to see how it performs on mainnet. So next couple of days, what we're going to do is deploy it to the mainnet, and we're also going to deploy a token, which is not the actual KIP token, but it is essentially a test KIP token. So it's what it's going to be is an open mint, but where everyone is only basically allowed to mint, say, 100 a day or something, just for the purpose of testing this out. And again, even sort of within the testing framework, so all our models are currently set to free for the purpose of testing. So you want to play around with them, you want to get creative and so on. You can use the models for free and then create your data sets. You set your own price for your data sets because they're yours. Create your apps, you set your own price for your data and for your apps because they're yours, and so on and so forth. So yeah, that is about the size of it, except to say, yeah, please follow us on Twitter. If you go to the Twitter, you'll be able to find the address for this site, and as well as for our Discord. And we're going to be sharing a lot more information about the contracts and the sites, both on Twitter and on Discord.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much, Jason, Jennifer, for your wonderful sharing. I believe everyone has gained as much as I have. So now we come to the Q&A session. You can type your questions in the comment area. And for now, I got one question is asking the difference between KIP protocol and other decentralized AI and data monetization platforms. Like what are your key competitive advantages?
So I would say that our main focus isn't so much on data sharing, although data sharing is something that you can do via this platform. At least in the short term, our main focus is on the apps, because we believe that if decentralized AI is going to exist and flourish, it needs to be something that people can make money doing. And the apps are the source to making money, essentially. No one makes money without the apps. So there are a million good models on Hugging Face, and basically none of them, or very few of them, make any money because they are just weights and biases in a box. And it's really hard for regular people to access them and run them. Even though Hugging Face now has sort of buttons to spin up an app, half the time they don't work, etc., etc. The ones that actually do make money are the ones with great apps. So it's ChatGPT, it's Claude, and so on. It's all of these things where they not only they own the model, but they also own all of the infrastructure that's required to get that model in front of paying customers. And that is where smaller developers really struggle, because usually if you're a model trainer, then you're not necessarily an expert when it comes to building apps, when it comes to managing payments, when it comes to marketing your work even. On the other hand, if you're an app maker, you might be great at marketing your app, but you might not necessarily know how to make the best possible model to power it. And if you're stuck searching through a Hugging Face, you're going to struggle. You're stuck with sort of the big, highly centralized, deep tech, big tech models, which might not necessarily be optimal for powering your app, especially if you want to do anything slightly spicy with it. But you're kind of stuck because you need to go with what you're capable of integrating. So what KIP is aiming to do, it's not to be a data platform, it's not even to be an app platform, really. It's to provide the infrastructure that people who want to build apps, to train models, or to even to provide data sets, the infrastructure that they're going to need to do that securely and in a decentralized way that allows them to interact, to collaborate and compete with other providers while retaining their full IP. So I'd say that what we want to be is not we don't want to be the Web3 OpenAI or anything. What we want to be is the Web3 Shopify for AI. Something that will just make it very easy for people who are working in the space creatively to share their work and to get rich off their work, hopefully.
Okay, thanks for the answer, Jennifer. Yeah, I guess there's no more questions. Yeah, if you have more questions, as Jennifer said, you can follow their KIP protocol Twitter and Discord. And I think today's TinTin Meeting technical sharing session is coming to the end. And thank you to the guests and friends for your active participation. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. See you.
See you.
Right, thank you guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.